Hi Grace, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I just wanted to record a short practice video for you to help you jumpstart your practice this week. I am looking at Chorus from Judas Maccabeus. That's at the beginning of Suzuki Book 2. So last week we reviewed all the lines except for lines 3 and 4. I'm starting on line 3. This is measure 9. So this is what you should be working on. So obviously the first two lines and the last two lines are exactly the same as each other. Now, if you're having a little bit of trouble at measure 13, what you should do is go down to the bottom of the page, the very bottom of the page, and there's a short little exercise at the bottom. I can show you this one right here. So that exercise is just helping us play measure 13 better. So at the beginning of that exercise, they ask you to put down fingers 3 and 4 at the same time. So let me show you again. See that little 4 and 3 with an arrow pointing down? That means put 4 and 3 down at the same time. This is going to help you play the E and the D sharp in tune. So put them down at the same time, and then we're just going to play quarter notes instead of the eighth notes that you see in measure 13. And we're going to do it again. 3 and 4 down. You might as well do it again. If you can do it 2 times, you can do it 10 times. And pretty soon you'll be able to go back up to 13 and do the printed rhythm and the printed bowing. I'll do it one more time. Okay, so that's lines 3 and lines 4. Now you should also be working on musette. Next week, I will have you play through Chorus from Judas Maccabeus all the way through. I really want you to pass that song. Let's be done with it. We've been working on it for too long. So, musette, I'll play through the whole thing. If you have any questions on this song, feel free to text me. We can chat about it. So we're starting our up bow in the middle of the bow. This song does start up bow. You should see that marked in your music with a little V shape. Then we repeat. The next section starts up bow as well. musette. Now the trickiest spot in musette, well, there's probably a couple tricky spots. It would be whenever there is a fourth finger on the E string. Fourth finger on the E string. And I want to make sure you know what that note is called. So this note here, I want you to mark in your music that that is called B, and that's fourth finger on the E string. B, fourth finger on the E string. Then I also want you to find whenever there are other occurrences of B, and always mark that note B. But I'm going to go on to what I believe is probably one of the trickier spots in musette, and that's at the very end. I shouldn't have took my book down. I'm going to show you again, but starting right here, all the way to the end. So. So first you see that we have 4 notes slurred, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason it's so hard is because there's a string crossing there. So how I would advise you to play that, to practice the string crossing over the slur, is an E followed by a long A. E, A, E, A, E, A. And on that long A, you're thinking 3 beats in your head. E, A, 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 E, A. So that's the bowing. Second, the notes. You might want to practice them like this with a stop between each one. Still do the slur, but do a stop. And then you can smooth it out. Okay, so that's the last little bit of musette. See if you can also play that one through from beginning to end. Now, third thing I want you to work on, there is a first position exercise in your Suzuki book. This is on page 11. It says first position, and there's this one, and then there's this one. Okay, so let's start with this one here. You are going to be playing a double stop in this exercise. A double stop, you may know this. A double stop is when you play 2 notes at the same time. In this case, a B, first finger on A, with an open E. When we play them at the same time, it almost sounds like 2 violins at once. So basically, it's like a violin superpower where you can play more than 1 note. So B on A and E. Sounds really cool. So let me just play exercise 5 for you. Then I might need to pause here, place my first finger, now when you're playing a double stop, you're not just concerned with where your finger is going and the 2 notes that you're playing, you're also thinking about your bow. When your bow plays a double stop, it's finding that little, we call it the invisible string between the strings. So we're playing A string and we're playing E string, but in order to play them both at once, your bow has to be in between the 2 strings. So that's why I say it's an invisible or an imaginary string hiding between A and E. So if you put your bow in A, you rock to E, and then rock back. So you're sort of in the middle of A and E, and then you can play both notes at once. So that's how you find the double stop with your bow. With the finger, well, good luck. You just kind of gotta work on it and play it over and over and over again, and you will get the double stop. So here's exercise 5 one more time. Set finger, set bow. So that's exercise 5. I would like you to try exercise 6 on your own. I'm out of time to explain it in this video, but you've got chorus from Judas Maccabeus, you've got Musette, you've got your first position exercise on page 11. Don't forget, you also have all those D scales. If I'm checking on my laptop here, it's page 7 in your scale book, numbers 41 through 45. So I will send you some practice notes. Happy practicing. Bye.